It's Aubrey Bracco from Survivor Co. Wrong. Start your wagon wheels and get rolling, because it's time to hit the Survivor Trail with Dwayne and Dave on Survivor Talk with D&D. Cock your wagon and float on through. It's sure to be a fun ride. Just be sure not to get dysentery and die.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Survivor Talk with D&D. I'm Dwayne.
And I'm David.
And we're just two best friends talking about the show we love, Survivor. Thanks for stopping by to fill your brain with more D&D. We're a family-friendly podcast that started back in 2012 with Survivor One World. And we love our D&D community. Y'all are what makes the show great, so thank you for listening. We also have two other shows, Movie Talk with D&D, and our new one just launched, Stranger Things with D&D. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you haven't figured out, that's about the show Stranger Things. So there you go. All right. Then tonight, while picking our teams for the D&D Survivor Challenge, we will be delving deeper into this new cast of survivors, who I like a lot, Millennials versus Gen X. And joining us to do that is our good friend, TV host of two shows, Murder Made Me Famous, and the spinoff Scandal Made Me Famous, both on the Reels Network, and senior writer at People Magazine, the one guy through whom we know all famous people, Steve Hoeing. Hello, Steve.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good, man.
Hey, I told you not to mention that he's our outlet to famous people, or he'll stop being our outlet to famous people. Sorry. Yeah. Well, he's our outlet, but that doesn't help us any. Not
anymore. It helps you. You never know. One time we may be doing this, and without even telling you, Sandra Bullock might be sitting right next.
That would be pretty awesome.
Wouldn't that be awesome? And then you'd be like, and then she'd be talking about Survivor. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah,
it would be. It's not going to happen, but okay.
No, it's not going to happen. Kind of like when I go, hey, you want to ask Tim if he can get... No, Dwayne, I don't know. No, Dwayne. I'm not asking Tim anything.
He talks to Tim like every other day, but not yet has Survivor Talk with D&D been brought up one time.
He's been on the private jet, but hey.
Well, if I find out that Tim becomes a big fan of either Survivor or Stranger Things, I will tell him about your podcast.
Of course. And that's all we would... Well, we don't expect anything. We're just joking around with you.
I can hear the conversation on the plane now. So, Tim, there's these two guys. No, I don't want to talk about it. But they're good friends. No, I don't want to talk about it. If it ain't football, I don't want to talk about it. Or baseball.
But they can help you in your baseball career. Okay.
Then he'll listen.
So Steve got to go and cover the Olympics for People Magazine.
I did. I was in Rio for 22. I'll tell you, there's a Survivor thing here. I won't tell you who, but there are a couple Survivor contestants that, because I was gone for 23 days. So after I was in Rio for longer than they were on Survivor, I would text them and be like, so you made it X number of days, but I made it X plus 1 number of days. So actually I'm better than you. Right. And a few of them didn't write me back. It was I was kind of offended.
Yeah. They were like, we weren't in a nice hotel in Rio.
Oh, that's okay. But
Well, welcome to those of you who are watching live on our website and YouTube. Enjoy the chat room and have fun. If you like the show, click the thumbs up. That's really nice. You're right there. You might as well do it. It's right down there. Just click that little thumbs up button. Next week is our That's What You Think episode. So get your written or audio thoughts to us no later than 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time this Thursday. All right? No later. Also, please try to keep your thoughts under 5 to 6 minutes for this episode. Seriously. If you write a full paragraph for each person, it's probably over 5 to 6 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And it's not Survivor Talk with D&D and insert your name. So that actually sounded a lot worse than I meant it to sound.
Yeah, I was going to say,
you're horrible.
Any feedback.
My point was we have like 10, 15 feedback, and they're all 10 minutes long. We don't have time to do it. So we need you to get them down to 5 to 6 minutes, and that'll help. All right. It's time for some. It's time to do our D&D Survivor Challenge teams.
Instead of 5 or 6 minutes, because you know how you tell people a certain time,
and they go
if you want them to be there at 3, you tell them 2:30.
Okay.
Or 245. So instead of 5 or 6 minutes, we should tell them like 2 pages, but a certain size font.
2 pages? Are you kidding?
I mean, by the time we get into 3 pages, because when you say 5 or 6 minutes, I could read my feedback in less than 5 minutes, but it would take you about 8 minutes to read it. So
whatever. Just don't write books. I mean, we like them,
just
but
write a page or 2.
Yeah. Or no, not a page or 2. That's a long feedback, David.
Oh, I thought you were saying that's too short. Less than 2 pages is what I'm saying, instead of 5 or 6 minutes.
What do you think, Steve?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I zone out after. I mean, this whole talk is fantastic, but I zone out after 5 to 6 minutes. So exactly. I would say I'd only listen to 3 minutes of somebody's thing. I mean,
so a page, less than a page.
I mean, just say what you got to say and then be done with it.
Yeah,
less is more.
All right, so we're going to do our D&D Survivor Challenge. Now, in the past, we have drafted and we've had different teams. We've done this big battle and we've done it on the website. But in the process of doing that, people in our Facebook group wanted to get involved. And so now we have this big D&D Survivor Challenge in our Facebook group. stwdd.com/Facebook is where you can find it. And so what David and I and Steve are going to do is we have each selected our 10 players for our very own Survivor Challenge team. And they can be the same players. It doesn't matter. We have chosen our 10 based on the point system that, again, is in our Facebook group. So we put together a scoring system, much like fantasy football or baseball scoring system. We pick our teams of 10. There's also a list of bonus questions. All of these are submitted to Andy Westover in our Facebook group. Let's see. That's on our Facebook group. Mark Percy's going to tabulate each player's score every week and pass them on to Andy, who updates the leaderboard and posts to the group, including each individual player's scores for the week. We must say a big, huge thank you to the young lady who's been doing it for years and years, Shayna. We will miss you, although she's still here somewhere. She's just not counting points anymore.
And if you're disappointed why we're not drafting like we usually do, this is one reason I hate playing fantasy football, because I get distracted from the actual fun of the game. So if I'm kind of competitive, just a little, so I get stuck watching for this and for that, and I'm like, oh, did I beat Dwayne this weekend? Who cares? I just want to watch Survivor.
Well,
we're just doing the fun thing on the Facebook group with everybody else, picking 10 people that we think will do well, and go from there. So I'm tired of beating Dwayne.
I still want to win. No. See, you always lose to me in this one. You beat me in the draft, but you always lose to me in this one.
Which is why we're quitting the one where I usually win, but we're keeping the one they're usually win. So I got you. Right. But that's not in the notes. I just added that in.
Deadline to submit your team of 10 to Andy, again, via our Facebook group, is Tuesday, September 20th at 11:59 p.m. Central Daylight Time.
We need to hurry because we lost Steve again when you said it. This is Steve Helling.
Yeah. Or for what it's worth, I just want to mention that the one and only time I ever did the draft with you guys, I won handily. That's all.
Yeah.
So I'm batting 1,000.
That right. That was the year you were with me, which helped you a lot.
Handily? Yes, I thought y'all won on the last week.
Hey, it doesn't matter.
We had 6 of the final 8.
Yeah. You were like losers.
You guys were keeping up with us until you literally had 2 people left.
Oh, that was the horrible season. Yes, last season's where it was close. Yeah. Okay. But I still had Kelly on my side. She hated you for that. So go ahead.
We're going to go around the room, per se, around the table, and Steve is going to pick his, whether you named him number 1 or her, your top pick or whatever. You're going to tell us somebody that is on your team, and then we will tell you if they are also on our team, and then we'll discuss that person. And now, then
I want to give – I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And once you do that, then David will go. He'll pick somebody, and we'll talk about that person. And once we've all done our team, then anybody left over, we'll talk about why they're not on our teams.
Okay. Now, I'm going to give my full disclosure here. I interviewed all 20 of these people before they went out. I haven't talked to a single one of them since they got back. So, and I'm unspoiled on how they did or anything like that. But yes, I spoke to these people before they went out, and I asked them about their strategy. Right. I asked them who they were. So that's how I chose my 10.
Yeah, you will probably do better than us because all we have is what was on EW and the Survivor. Well, you didn't post anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, somebody hasn't posted yet.
I'll post it later. I'm going to post it.
If you don't want me reading Dalton, then maybe you should post something. Or Gordon.
So Dwayne and I reserve the right to change at the last minute.
No. I'm going to stick with my team. I spent a good hour and a half on this today.
Wow.
I have pages all over my desk.
I wrote a list of names and was done with it. So,
oh gosh, now whenever he wins, it's not bad enough that he's cocky already. He's the host of 2 shows and knows all these famous people. Drives a Maserati.
Goes to the Olympics.
Went to the Olympics.
I drive a minivan, but okay, we'll say a Maserati.
All right, it's a Maserati minivan. All right, Steve. Who is the first person on your? Oh, did you have a team name?
No, I didn't. Which is probably why I should have spent more than just a few minutes writing down a list. I didn't. I'll come up with a name by the end.
Oh gosh, I didn't either. I forgot about a team name.
That's all right. That's why I'm the producer. Go ahead, Steve. Who's your first person on your team?
Okay, of everybody who I spoke with, all 20 of them, the one I thought had it going on the most was Mari Takahashi.
Whoa.
Yes, she had it. She had it going on up here. She talked about her ballet training, how she'd do well in balance, in balance type of challenges. She's got a really analytical mind, yet she's, like for instance, even her personal claim to fame was that she climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, which I think is pretty impressive. So, I came away from it, and for what it's worth, I talked to some of the other people who had also interviewed them. And all of us said, yes, she knows what's up. So she's my pick. She's awesome. She's not only if we were going to be ranking them, before she went out was my number 1 pick to win the whole game. Watch her go out first, but I thought I was really impressed with her.
Nice. I also have her on my team. She was my 3rd pick, so she was pretty high up in mine. David, did you have her on your team?
I don't have her on my team. I like her. And Gracie's probably going to disown me for not putting her on my team, but I think she's going to be kind of obvious that she's smart, that she's strategic, and she may even be recognized to the point where it puts a target on her. I do like her. I hope she makes it far, but I just don't. I have a feeling she's going to go too soon.
Yeah, I think the only one that might recognize her is Will, and he doesn't look like he would recognize her. I don't know that he's a gamer,
Okay, I didn't really tear apart your analysis because you didn't give one, but if you're going to tear apart each, I'm just kidding.
Whatever you want. It's talk however you want. Say what you want to, David.
All right, why did you put her on your team?
Well, I think her being a YouTube personality is actually going to help her because she has that. Just listening to her talk, I think people are going to be drawn to her. I think they're going to like having her around. And that's always a good thing, is to be liked. Having people liking you being around is always a good thing. And also, she's an outdoorsy person. She doesn't like laziness. And I just think she's going to do well. Well, whenever I saw her, I thought, this girl's going to engage with people and they're going to like her. And she's going to do well in challenges. So why get her off? Why vote her off? So that's what I thought.
Now, Steve, what did you say the other people said about her? That she's got it going on?
Yeah, she really... she was quick on her feet. She answered the questions well, and that is something I've noticed. Ultimately, if you're good at answering questions on press day, and you're good at dealing with thinking quickly on your feet, you tend to be I could go back and listen to a lot of my old seasons worth of interviews, and some people just aren't good on press day, and they don't generally tend to do very well.
Right.
So.
Well,
okay.
So
I just think the others are going to see her as a threat. I think she's going to get the show.
Well, there you go.
I don't know that they're going to see her as a threat first thing, which is why I think she gets there. She's the type that's not weak enough that they're going to get rid of her at the beginning. In fact, she will probably add to her team, and then I think that once they get to the merge, that's when you start picking off the muscle guys. So
right. See, I definitely see her as making the merge. And another reason why I picked her is because one of our big point getters is confessionals. And I think she's going to be a great person for confessionals. Mm-hmm. So that's another reason. All right. So Steve and I have her on our team. David does not. David, it is time for one of yours.
Somebody that I think is actually going to get a lot of points is I like Zeke, and I loved his video. All the videos, like Dwayne was saying when we were watching them last podcast, were kind of ridiculous and silly. So I thought Zeke's was hilarious. I loved when he dove into the mud and just tried to be silly. I think he's going to be like that, and people are going to like him. But I think talking-wise, he's going to get confessionals. And I think he's going to get points. I also think he's going to be a strategist, and I think he could go far in the game. So I got Zeke as my first.
Okay.
How about you, Steve?
I have him on my list. I wouldn't have him that high of my list. I actually have him number 7.
Oh.
Yeah, and the reason, you know what? He knows this game. He knows this game really well. And in my interview, I asked him, who are you most like, and I can't remember. I haven't transcribed it, but I remember that he didn't give me a normal name. If one more person tells me they're like Boston Rob or Parvati, because they're not, and you're not. Let's see. I'm wondering if I have it down. I don't have it down. Who he's the most like. Oh, you know what? He says in his official bio he's like Tony, but that's not who he told me, and I cannot remember who he told me. Yeah, I know. But the other thing about him is I said, who would be your nightmare to have on your team? And he said Corinne. He would hate to be on a team with Corinne,
right.
On a tribe with her. And so he says he's going to get along with everybody. He says that, he knows this game. And I think he'll do well. I don't know that he'll win. I don't know how far he'll go. But I think as long as he's there, he'll be good with his confessionals as well.
Yeah, I have him going far, but I actually don't have him winning. I do think he'll go far. I think he'll get to the end and not be liked as much as somebody that might win. He could rub people the wrong way, but I do like him going far.
Yeah, he was my number 1 pick as well.
Okay.
Absolutely number 1 pick.
Was he your pick to win?
I didn't really have a pick to win.
Okay. I kind of did, but I don't know if we were going to do that or not.
Well, I mean, I don't know who's going to win.
I know. This is a good cast. I like what you said in the beginning. I liked all of them, so it's kind of hard.
But, one of the things, Probst even said he kind of has that Richard Hatch. We haven't really had a player like him since Richard Hatch, which I know, Probst is trying to promote the show. But, I don't know, he just really strikes me as the kind of guy that's going to be around for a long time. Yeah. Definitely going to get confessionals. And he's not a huge physical threat, so they're not going to get rid of him for that. And I think he's going to be around for a long time. So David and I both have him picked as number 1. He's on all 3 of our teams, which I think is awesome. All right, I get to pick somebody. Y'all feel free to tear it apart. That's why we call it Survivor Talk with D&D, so we can talk. Brett LaBelle is my number 2 pick. I have him right under Zeke, and one of the things I love about him is the dude's accent. How can you not like a guy from Boston? You know what I mean? He's great. Police sergeant, likable. I just feel like he's going to be one of those guys on the beach that not only is he going to do well in challenges, so they're going to keep him around early for sure, but he's going to get on everybody's good side. They're going to like being around him. He's going to be somebody that engages people in conversation, is kind of laid back about stuff. And I just really feel like he's going to be there for the long haul. So he's definitely on my team.
Okay.
Do
either one of you have him on your team? No?
No.
Am I the only one?
Yeah.
Steve, so he's not on your. I'm writing all this down, so I'll put Brett down.
I liked him. I liked him a lot when I interviewed him. And there were 3 people who told me that they were going to lie about what they do for a living.
Yeah.
And he was one of them. He was going to, I think, and again, I'm trying to remember. I think he told me he was going to say that he's an undertaker.
Oh, wow.
I think he collects dead bodies. That could be true.
I think it was him. Yeah, it was the cop. All told me what their cover stories were going to be. And for that reason, I think that somebody's going to either make him as a cop or something. I just got this feeling, and again, I could be wrong. He could win the whole thing. Right. But going into it, as he's telling me this, and I'm trying to be professional and not say things like, gee, do you think that's really a good idea? And that doesn't work. And, and as he's telling me a little bit about his strategy, I'm thinking, okay, great. That's not going to work for you. I could be wrong, but so I don't have him on my list. Now, if I were ranking them, I probably would have him 11th or 12th. I mean, I would have him close to the top of the ones that I didn't choose, but I didn't choose him. So,
all right, David, did you choose him?
No, but he was on the bubble for me. And it's funny that you said about his accent. You like his accent. See, I think it's the Southern accent that people like and would feel more comfortable with, because I have a couple people with Southern accents that I think will do well. But I liked Brett, but I looked at that tribe and I thought alpha male. He's a big guy. There's another big guy who even says he's an alpha male, and for some reason I just see Chris doing better than Brett. And I think those two guys could get along if they got to know each other, but if they clash, I just think Chris and his Southern accent is going to draw more relationships than Brett and his Boston accent. But I didn't think about his accent, but that's a good point you bring up, because I was basing some other thoughts on Southern accents.
Yeah,
his is
good.
Definitely different. So
see, I like Boston accents, but most people like from the North that are not around Southern people, they melt at a Southern accent.
Yeah.
So you're right. That's
I do like Brett, and I'm with Steve. I had him on 11th, 12th, or 13th. He's on the bubble, but I just didn't put him on my 10.
Yeah. I do have a concern with him, even though I have him high on my list, because I think he's going to make it a long time in the game. One of his pet peeves was people who talk politics and religion. And I have a very strong suspicion that this season is going to have a lot of religious talk in it.
Yeah.
And because they have really emphasized that. There are several Christians on the show, and they proclaim it. So
I went to a meeting last night. It was a deacons meeting, as a matter of fact. And the guy that drove me, because we had to go far away for this meeting, he goes, "What's with all the religious talk in all these videos?" He said, "That's awesome that there's going to be," and I'm just looking at it, he goes, "Why are you making that face?"
Because it ain't going to be awesome.
I said, because they only put in the clips what could happen in the season, and I have a feeling, like Dwayne just said, it's going to come up as maybe a negative or positive, and it's been mentioned on negative and positive. Yeah. But what's funny is, me, I like police officers. Yes. And if he lies about it and comes up with a spice shack, Dwayne could be right and we could be wrong. So we never know.
All right, so let's recap. We've all gone through once. So far, Steve has shared with us that he has Zeke and Maria and Mari on his team so far. David, so far you've shown us who?
Just Zeke.
Just Zeke, and I've shown Zeke, Mari, and Brett. All right, Steve, who's your next person?
Okay, my next person, I think I put her up a little too high, but Hannah Shapiro. I put Hannah up high.
Yeah.
She's friends with Max Dawson. She took his class. She knows this show.
She took his class.
She did. She took his class. Now,
is that really a good thing? Okay, go ahead.
I okay. She was very, very smart, very knowledgeable in my interview with her. Right. And I know that she's one of those that I think if she makes it past the first few days, she'll be fine. She's probably not going to be the one that easily gets people around her. But I think that she's probably smart enough that she can keep from getting voted off quickly, and then I think she'll make the long haul. Yeah. I think I put her up way too high on my list. I just remember, and I'll tell you this, the handlers said that she was really high-strung before the game started. I think she was really psyched for it. Yeah. If she can get that under control, I think she'll be fine. I should have put her down like at 10, and I put her up. Really? I really should have, but I liked her, and I didn't want to forget about her, so I have her on my list, and we'll see. That might be one that I regret putting on here, but I liked her personally, and I figured she'd been talking with Max about the show, and she knows what to do. Granted, Max made it 14 days or whatever, so it is what it is. But
maybe she talked to him afterwards.
Yeah, maybe she has. So,
how about you, David? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
No, that's all.
The question is, if she failed the class, that might be good.
Yeah.
I should have asked Max. I don't know.
I kid, Max. I kid if he listens.
He doesn't listen to us. Are you kidding?
I actually have her on my team, but I have her around 7.
Okay.
Like 4 to 10 is kind of jumbled up. I like her for confessionals, and I'm like Steve. If she gets past day 3 or 6, like Aubrey did, I think she could find her way into a good place. I hope her and Zeke align. Her video was my second favorite video. Me and Dwayne could hardly hear it because we were laughing so much at her video. But her video was great, and if she exudes that personality, she's going to be one that we've talked about you want to hang around. And if she's trusting and doesn't come across as scheming, I think if people laugh at her and get along, I think she's got a chance to do well. But I see her as a point getter, which is why I invested in her and put her on my top 10.
Yeah, she was my number 4.
Oh.
So we all have her on our team. Looking at her tribe, I can see where if they were to lose 2 or 3 right at the beginning, she might be in danger. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if they lose the first one, Michaela is likely to go before she would. And so I saw all the press picks today, and Michaela looks a little more unhappy that she's there than Hannah did. So, and I was kind of trying to decide which one I think might be first boot off of their tribe. And I think Michaela might be, if I can talk. So, again, if Hannah can make it through that first couple tribals, I think she's going to go a good ways because I think people are going to like having her around. Because, it's like she is that kind of goofy person, but she's not that goofy person that you don't want around.
Right.
From what I can tell.
Yeah, I didn't get the annoying impression. I just got the I keep laughing impression.
Right.
There's also something to be said about the people who are fans of the show and they're giddy to be chosen for the show that they love. Yeah. And I think that so I hope she does well. I hope she does really well. So. All
right, David, you're next.
Let's see. Oh, sorry. Get back to that document. Next on my list, actually, you're covering, I'm trying to make sure I've got people where I've got them on my document over here. I've got Chris Hammonds,
all right.
the Oklahoma football player with the Southern accent, the big guy that everybody keeps picking out or talking about.
Yes, they do.
Even Zeke picked him out, and he likes his spirit. I just like his accent. He's a lawyer, so he's smart. He's schemy. I hope he doesn't. If he's one of the ones that lies about his job, I hope he's successful at it and comes across.
He's a lawyer.
I mean, he's a retired football player or played in college. He sells insurance. I mean, he could easily go with that, or sells cars. He works for John Elway and sells cars in Colorado or something. I don't know, but I just like him. I like his. I like him for Survivor. I don't know. He's going to be smart and have good confessionals, so I invested in him, put him on my 10.
So is this our first Is this our first Gen Xer? No, okay. I picked Brett. This is y'all's first Gen Xer. This is your first Gen Xer.
Mine, yeah.
Yeah. He's also on my team. Watching his video again, I was really impressed with him. He is big, and I think he is going to do well in the challenges. Just that preview of him basically knocking Jay or Adam, or it may have been Taylor, of just like get out of my way. And maybe he does have that nice Southern charm and keeps him around. But I mean, obviously, I just really don't see him going early. So he's definitely one of mine. And I do like what you said about his accent. I think that's going to help him, assuming he's not
an alpha male with a Southern drawl. Come on.
Yeah, as long as he's a nice alpha male.
Yes, exactly.
All right, Steve, is he on your team?
He's my number 3.
He's your number 3. Wow.
He's my number 3 because I'll tell you what he told me his job was going to be out there. He wasn't going to be an attorney. He was going to be a football coordinator.
Nice.
I can't remember whether he said for a college. He knows football, so he can lie about football all day long. To me, the problem is, and none of the 3 who told me that they're going to lie about their jobs did this, but sometimes, like, if I decided I was going to tell people I was a web designer, and then they find out that I don't know crap about HTML,
right?
That's a problem. He's going to know what, and he's going to be, and I think he's very quick on his feet. The other thing is, he is friends with a former survivor.
Oh.
He's friends with John Carroll from Marquesas.
Mm-hmm.
They're both attorneys, whatever. So I don't know how much talk they did beforehand, but I think Chris is going to be pretty well prepared to be out there. So I have him as my number 3.
Nice.
See, I like the coordinator thing because he doesn't come across as a head coach. He's not the boss. He's used to working with other people, and he worked for coordinators for 4 years, in college, so he knows that position too. But he's not saying, "Oh man, we got another Jimmy Johnson, another coach,
right.
out here." He's not that. He's a coordinator, so he works under other people.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that even more.
But you know what you said earlier about whoever it was going to say they were a
Brett.
Yeah, what did they say?
Undertaker.
Yeah, they're going to be an undertaker. Man, you better know a lot about undertaking.
You know what? He does. He said he did. And
Okay.
He told me a little bit about it. I hope I'm right. I should have listened back to that tape to make sure it was him.
Yeah.
But he's still, yes, he did. Because I have it, yeah.
Okay.
Unless my notes are wrong. So, yeah.
All right. So let's see. Who are we on now? See, I picked. So now, wait. Who picked that one?
I picked Chris.
That was you. So now it's I'm losing track. Now it's my turn.
Yep.
I hope someone else
1,
keeps.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
And we've already picked 5 of yours.
Yeah, you have. I'm on number. Well, he was my number 6, so I'm back to number 5.
Wait, wouldn't it be my turn? I mean, I don't care, but
No, it's you, then me, then Dwayne.
No,
we've done 6. Me.
no, y'all just picked some of mine.
All right.
I
It's
picked
you,
Dwayne's
David,
number
me.
6, so we've only picked 5 so far.
We've picked 6 so far. Mari, Hannah, Chris. Oh, never mind. I have Chris down twice. I'm sorry.
Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that's not.
You know what's interesting though? So far, everybody y'all picked is on my team.
That
Interesting.
is interesting.
So my number 5, she's 5 on my list, is CC Taylor. And she is, of course, on the Gen X team. And just looking at, I don't even know why I picked her, to be honest with you. I just, for some reason, I thought this girl can make it. She can do well. Maybe she'll get me some points somewhere. I don't know that I don't think she's going to win. I don't even think she'll make it far past the merge unless she gets on a really good group. But for some reason, I have her on my team, and she kind of stuck out to me. So hopefully Steve will have better reasons than me, unless he doesn't have her on his team. I don't think he does.
She's not on my team. And you know what? She seemed very, very sweet when I talked to her. And she's very when I spoke to them, I didn't know what the theme was going to be. And so her strategy going in was, I'm going to, I can be the mother figure to some of these young people. Well, now she's on a team with a bunch of old people, old people being our age. So I think I took her as being maybe too nice for Survivor. She doesn't seem like somebody who's going to really lie her way through it. So if I were ranking it, I would put her pretty low on the ranking.
Yeah.
I think she might be too lovely of a person for Survivor.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know why I picked her. But she's there. She's going to be my dark horse, like Keith. Keith was David's dark horse.
He was because, he was.
Yeah, so she's going to be my dark horse. I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead, David.
Immediately says somebody finally picked CC. Well, it was going to happen sooner or later because I didn't pick her either for my 10. I don't know. I just get the feeling I don't know how she's going to acclimate. Did you get the impression she was a fan, a lifelong fan?
I didn't. But I didn't get the impression that she didn't know what she was doing either.
Right.
But then again, by the time I've talked to them, even the ones who weren't fans have gotten the 3 DVDs that they watch, and
right.
And I think Survivor is well known enough that you can sort of fake it if you've watched a season or two.
Yeah, this might be ageism, but it seems like the older players that don't have a mean strategy might get picked off, whereas the younger ones seem more forgiven sometimes and are allowed to tag along. And that's kind of why I didn't pick her from that tribe. I actually split 5 and 5. I got 5 Gen X and 5 Millennials, and I kind of did that on purpose, but I like the way it worked out. I did like her too. She's somebody I could easily have a conversation with or even work with, but I just didn't see her as in my top 10 for this group.
Okay, so she doesn't seem like she's going to be someone that's going to get on people's nerves and be like an angry person. And so I kind of feel like she's just going to kind of stroll along and be someone's vote for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. All right.
Okay.
Whatever. Back to Steve.
Now,
Back to Steve.
I'm wondering whether to tell you number 4 or just to choose somebody else who's lower down on my list.
Well, just tell us number 4.
Well, you've already told us your first couple, so you can tell us who you want.
All right, I'll tell you who my number 4 is, and I may regret this one, but It's Rachel Ako. I put her down because of everybody who I talked to, of all 20 of them, I liked her a lot. I liked how she talked. I liked what she said. When I say I liked her, I'm not talking at all about in the framework of the game. I'm talking about she was a likable person that I got off the phone and I said to the handler, I said, I hope she does well. She's really nice. Yeah. She has had some tragedy in her life, in her background. So she got a little teary when she was telling me about it. I don't know. There are certain people, and likability is one of those things that people forget about sometimes on this show.
Yeah.
I look at somebody like, if you've ever met Danny Boatwright, who of course won the show, she's just somebody who you like enough that, aside from the fact that she was beautiful, but you just like her and you want her to do well in life. And sometimes if it's between Rachel and somebody who's not quite as likable, one of them's going to go and one of them's not in the alliance, chances are they're going to choose the one who is a little bit rougher around the edges. So that's why I put her there. I think, you know what? Let the chips fall where they may.
Hey, I picked Cece. You could pick Rachel.
Exactly.
I had Rachel on the bubble, and I think, and I hate to say this, but I think she's distractingly beautiful. I think she's a very nice person. She talks very well, and I can see her being one of those that people say, let's get Rachel to add to our group. Let's bring in Rachel. I don't see Rachel being a mastermind, but I actually predict Rachel makes the merge and goes a good ways into the game because she's easy to talk to. She's very likable, like Steve said. However, I didn't put her in my 10 because I don't see her getting a lot of points for confessionals or idols or challenge wins. That's the only reason she's not in my 10. Otherwise, I see her making the merge. And like you said, there's a lot of likable people in this group, but I'm picking people, point-wise that I think will give me points. But I think Rachel makes the merge, and I think she goes far because she's just likable. I look at that tribe, and I'm like, who are they going to vote out first? Or who are they going to keep around? And Rachel's one of those I think is going to get added to the numbers. So I didn't put her on my team, but I do like her going a good ways into the game.
See, I could see her having a total breakdown in the first 2 days. Just like totally, why am I here?
She's not married to John Rocker, so you don't have to worry about that.
This is not, why did I do this? So-and-so hurt my feelings. I'm not she's going to be that picky, but I'm just, when you're thinking emotions are going to be high, and I don't know. Probst even said it, of course, what can we say about Probst? But he said insecurity may be her downfall.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that was probably one of those that was with my heart, not with my head, but
yeah.
Oh, if I was picking a boot list, she would have been on my top 10, but I just don't see her gain a lot of points. So I take it, Dwayne, you don't have her on your 10.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, she was my number 15.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. So I've had a CC. Steve's had a Rachel. Is David going to have one of those? Is he going to have a Lucy?
You never know. But since we're near the top of the group.
All right, David, it's your pick.
I'm going to say one that you're going to have the opposite reaction to is, I think, Michaela. I think you didn't like Michaela or were worried about Michaela. And she's another one, to me, that's had a very active life. She's gone through a lot of stuff. She's easy to listen to and talk to, but she's also got that southern drawl that, to me, says honesty. and it says I'm being truthful with you. I'm not trying to lie to you. I just want to do this and do that. And she just seems like a smart, put together young person. This is my wild card, my long shot. You know, I like her. I'd almost lean to her as a pick to win, but at the same time, I don't know. You know, I didn't get enough of a Survivor vibe about her. I just liked her. I liked listening to her, and I just thought she's a smart person, and I liked her accent.
Well, I liked her until I saw all the episode 1 pictures.
Oh, I didn't look at this.
And she's smiling in one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of them, she looks miserable. Of course, they have a typhoon or cyclone come through, so
yeah,
you know they may all be miserable. Oh, it was interesting though. A little sidetrack here. This is not considered spoilish because CBS put it out. So if CBS put it out, it's fair game. Probst was talking about the cyclone coming in and them having to evacuate everybody. And he said it was very interesting. All the Gen Xers were like, you know, acted like you and I would act. And all the millennials acted like it was a party, you know, like, oh, cool, Survivor history. Yeah, wow. You know, so anyway, I thought that was interesting.
As you're getting swept away.
Yeah. All right, Steve. Michaela.
One thing about the typhoon, then I'll tell you where I have Michaela. It's interesting because I do think some of it is of how much resolve you have in your life to do things. I'll tell you this right now, and I am never going to be on Survivor. We all know that. But I have my own stuff going on. And frankly, if through some weird thing I were on Survivor and on day 2 the typhoon came through and they evacuated us, I would be like, I'm out. I'm done. It was stupid for me to come out here. I'm not going to put my life at risk and risk. Send me the F home is exactly where I would be with it. And so I don't think that it will be interesting to see if anybody quits because of it, because I actually think somebody might. But when it comes to Michaela, I was trying to decide whether to put her or Brett at number 10, and I chose Michaela at number 10. So she just made my list. There were a few warning flags I had when I talked to her. Like she did say, you know, I just say what I think because it's how I feel at the time, which works for exactly one person who ever plays the game, and her name is Sandra. Nobody else can just say what they think at the time and have no repercussions for it.
Right.
If she's charming enough in her happy times, she can make it far. Otherwise, I think I gave her number 10 because I think she'll get the confessionals, but I don't see her making the merge, or if she does, she just makes the merge.
See, I see her as first boot if Millennials lose the first challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow. I don't know if we've ever had that much of an opposite reaction about somebody.
Yeah.
Well, and keep this in mind too, though. Day 2, Cyclone comes through.
Yeah.
So there's no boots at that point.
Right.
And so it will be interesting to see as they're evacuated, how does that change the dynamic?
True.
So somebody who might have been a first boot on day 1 could be a vital part of the tribe on day 3.
Right.
Yeah.
And somebody could have checked out mentally during that time, and so who knows?
Yeah. I mean, everybody listening and watching knows that we have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, there is so much more than the little bit of knowledge we have is based on what we've been told, what we've been allowed to see. And then Steve has a little bit more because he got to talk to him. But my goodness, the smallest little thing can happen out there on the island. It totally changes dynamics.
Yeah, we've been told multiple times by past players that so-and-so was going home had we lost.
Yeah.
But, 4 episodes later, they're in control of the alliance.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've seen that many times.
Yeah. She was 14th on my list. So,
Okay.
But again, that had a lot to do with, I saw all those pictures and she just did not look happy.
Mm-hmm. You probably wouldn't either if you're in the middle of a cyclone, but I get you.
No, well, it wasn't at the cyclone. It was at camp and they were working on stuff, so. All right. Who just picked?
I did.
You did. So it's my pick. All right. My number 7. This is my 7th person on my team. Very smart. I love his personality. It's Adam Klein. Really like Adam. I just something about him just stuck out to me. I think he's, the normal reasons. I think he's going to be around for a while. I think he's going to get confessionals. And I just really liked him. He's likes to play poker. Of course, David loves that about people. The only thing about him I don't like is he likes subreddit, and Reddit doesn't tend to like Survivor Talk with D&D. But maybe he will come around.
That's because we don't curse and talk about things that other people.
I don't know why.
I don't know either. I didn't know they didn't like us. But okay.
It's probably because we're two old guys. That's really what it is. All right. So, what do either one of y'all have Adam on your team?
I do. I have him at number 9. I got the feeling that he was very smart. I felt like he knows this game, gets this game. He said he was like Spencer, and I think that's pretty accurate. And he did say something along the lines of, but I'm going to be better at interacting with people. I think he's self-aware, which is a big help, and also the fact that he works at a homeless shelter.
Right.
He's not the standard actor, bartender, whatever. So I think he has some self-awareness. He's seen some of the world. And I thought he was smart. I liked him.
Yeah. Isn't he the one that said he has a really good reason to play the game? And I thought it was going to be so he could help his mom with the money, but instead it was because the longer I'm in the game, the longer I get to enjoy watching the show with my family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I just like that about him.
He's number 4 on my team because I liked his spirit. But I like the fact, and I like that how smart he is. He's from Stanford, and he was like second in his class, I think. But I like that he reminds me of somebody that drinks a lot of Red Bull who doesn't actually drink Red Bull. Mm-hmm. And he's always aware. I have a feeling he's going to be one of those people that's always watching, always looking around. I think he's going to give really good confessionals about what he sees and what's going on. And
maybe the storyteller.
I just like him. He's very likable, but I really like his spirit and how pumped up he is. Like you said about Hannah, I think he's the same way, but in a more calm way. He may not be as funny. Well, he said he was voted class clown or something, didn't he? Wasn't he the one?
Yeah.
So, or the biggest nerd or something like that. So I like him. Yeah, he's like, no, I got 3 out of my top 4 are millennials. So yeah, he's like my 4th.
Me too. No.
So we all have Adam on our team. Wow. So far, we all have. Well, I don't know who we all have because I don't remember who all's on my team.
On your team.
Oh, it's Steve's turn. I'm going to go back and mark who all's on my team.
Okay. So
go ahead, Steve.
I'm going to give you my number 8. And I'm going to save 5 and 6 for a minute. I don't know. It just felt like I wanted to do
Being picked by Steve Helling made me famous. There you go. Okay.
Jessica Blaine Lewis, the attorney. I put her at number 8. And the reason why I put her at number 8 is I think she's very smart. She's also from kind of close to my hometown, so I kind of had to give her that. I wasn't crazy about the fact that she said that she was going to go in and say that she is a wedding photographer. And the reason why is I think you can get away with saying I'm a wedding photographer for casuals, but there's enough people on this show that have watched this show enough that we know we're not going to cast just a nice wedding photographer from upstate New York. If I go on the show and there are people with boring jobs who aren't necessarily, who don't end up looking like a Playboy centerfold, I'm going to think, okay, they don't have a boring job. There's something more to them. But I think she's smart, and she does dabble in photography, she said. So I put her on here because I do like attorneys. I said to her in our pre-show interview, I said, now attorneys have never made the finals ever. And she said, yes. She said, but she is going to not cause strife at the beginning, and she's going to kind of start showing her intelligence as time goes along. And I think, sure. Okay, so I put her on there. I liked her. Aren't I?
No.
Okay, is Dwayne muted to you? He's muted to me. Okay, I'll go ahead since he's muted. I did not put her on my team, and as I'll say to all 10 that did not make my team, this is nothing personal. It's just business. But I actually have her as the first person voted off that tribe. And I went through a process of elimination. I went through that. Rachel is Rachel. She's not in my top 10 of getting points, but I think she's going to do well. I think Cece looks very athletic. Mm-hmm. She looks strong, and I think she's very solid. Jessica is the youngest female on that team. I think Sunday is going to blend in with some of the older men. And I just think for that reason, I didn't put her in my 10 because I think she could be a candidate for the first boot. But I do like her. I like her spirit as well. She's very excited to be out there. But I wonder, now being excited out there as a millennial is one thing. Being excited as a Gen X could get to some of the older Gen X's that may not be as excited, but they could be just, Paul's a nut. He seems excited all the time. But I don't know, she scares me as she could be a sacrifice from a first loss, whenever that comes. So that's the only reason I didn't put her on there. But I like her too.
Mm-hmm. Are y'all talking about Jessica, right?
Yes, sir.
Did y'all see that I left the podcast for a while?
No, we didn't even notice.
Yes, we noticed that the smell was gone for a minute, but you're back.
Now there's two of me down there, so oh well, interesting. She was on a bubble for me, and when it ended up, I ended up having to cut some people. So she was one of them, mainly because I think it was because of, well, you've probably already talked about all this, so I'm not going to go into it.
Tell us.
She's not a quiet one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she may not be one that people, maybe she gets on their nerves, maybe she doesn't.
Fair enough.
All right, David.
I'll give you my last millennial, even though it's not in order. Figgy. I've got Figgy on my team because I think, even though Michelle talks about using the flirt card, I think Figgy knows how to use the flirt card. And she's not afraid to be whatever she has to be to do well. I mean, I see a little Michelle in Figgy, and Michelle, even though she got to the end and she won, she knew how to play the game to get to the end. I'll give her that much. I just think Figgy is going to be prepared to do what she's got to do, sidle up to the right person, and say the right things to go far in the game. And I think she could be one to do that. So I've got Figgy. She's down number 8 on my list.
She was 9 on mine. She's on my team as well.
Oh, then wait a minute. Let me maybe remove her down to the. I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm. No, I think. I mean, we're at the bottom of our 10, so it's not like we think these people are going to win or anything. But I think I liked her personality. I think she's fun. I think people are going to like having her around. She's going to be part of the in group, and I think she's going to hang around for a while. Give me some points.
I put her at number 13. Not because I didn't think that she could go very far, but I got the vibe that, I don't see a ton of confessionals, at least at first. You remember with Brains, Broad, and Beauty, this most recent one here, we didn't really see the beauties for a long time,
Right.
And I just get the feeling that we're going to go the first half of the season, and for whatever reason, she's just going to kind of blend in. There's always somebody that when they show the entire group, you're like, oh wait, who? Oh yeah, I forgot about her. She may be the one. Just I don't know why, but I didn't put her in my top 10. Though again, she's a lovely person. I just don't have her in my top 10.
Well,
right.
So unless they go to 3 tribes, the only chance we have then is if they do spread out the confessionals over 2 tribes. So this is 2 versus 3. But you're right, the beauty tribe pretty much disappeared because they just didn't lose for the first 3 or 4 weeks.
Right. So.
Yeah.
And also, when we're talking about girls, some of the girls her age, I think, have a more interesting backstory when it comes to confessionals. So,
All right.
She's also very athletic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I could be wrong. She could win the whole thing. I might be seeing her at the finale apologizing. So.
Oh, there's Sandra Bullock calling you back. So
Yeah, sorry.
That's not my phone.
Hello,
that's
Sandra.
the way.
Yes, Sandra. Steve is right here, but he said he doesn't like you anymore.
All right, we can see that you didn't answer it, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's like on those TV shows when they bring up the phone, you're like, you're not even talking to anybody.
You didn't turn it on yet.
I hate when people do that. I'm going to go to my 10th person. So I have 2 more on my team that we've not talked about, but I'm going to go to my 10th person, and that is Sunday. And she's my 10th because actually Probe said something that I completely agree with. She's either early or late. I could see her in final 3, and I could see her in the first 1, 2, or 3 to go out. So, dang gummit, son, stop calling me. I'm going to put y'all on mute and take my call. Y'all talk about Sunday for me.
Is she on your team, Steve?
No, she's not. And she's not on my team, and she's my number 20.
Wow.
And the reason why she's in the number 20 is I think if I were sitting with Sunday, we could talk all day.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her. I thought she was super nice, all of that. I think she's going to struggle with the ethics of the game. Our talk turned to Lisa Welchel.
Mm-hmm.
She said to me, I really empathized with Lisa, and she played the game. I get that. And I just think, again, she's one of those people like Cece who's just a lovely person. And sometimes a lovely person doesn't make it far on the show. I got kind of a vibe of almost like Nina from Worlds Apart.
Yeah, Porsche.
Very nice, extremely nice, and somebody who I want to know as a person, but not somebody who I think, I think Sunday is one of those that if you put her in 100 alternate universes of Survivor, she makes the merge a third of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think just because she doesn't seem like the type who's going to want to backstab. Then again, if there's a group with this was before I knew it was Gen X. So if there's a group of people who decide they need a trustworthy fifth in their 5-person alliance, it may be her, but I don't think so.
Well, just 2 points to that. One, thanks to Durham Warriors Survival Challenge, I've had the pleasure of meeting Nina Porsche several times, and I still talk to her, and she is even nicer than some of the nicest people in the world you'll ever meet. And so is her husband, Dan. Super cool. He just played. But anyway, do you think part of the reason Lisa had problems with you? So do you think she had problems with the ethical side of the game, Lisa Welchel?
Yes, absolutely.
Is it partly because she had to be Lisa Welchel when she was done, or do you think somebody else can go in there and play as a Christian like we are and say, you know what, I'm just going to play as I can. When I come out, I'm still me, but she's Lisa Welchel. She's the author, the personality, the celebrity. Do you think that's why she had an extra tight rein? She wore 2 belts instead of 1, or
maybe? But Sunday has a church full of people who are watching her, and they're going to be on her mind. So I want to meet. I'm looking forward to meeting Sunday. I'm sure I will soon. But I have her at number 20. And if you're watching Sunday, it's so not personal. I think you're lovely.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
She's on my team. She's actually, I put her ahead of Hannah is one spot. She's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I did the process of elimination thing like I did with Jessica, in that I think because of her age, she'll blend with some certain members, like Brett and Chris and Paul, and maybe even Lucy as well. I just think she's another one like Hannah. If she makes it past the first 6 days, 3, 4 episodes, I think she's going to have her spot. She's going to have made those relationships. You're right. It could be a bad 3 days, but I don't know. Yeah, there was a lot of religious talk. She's a youth pastor at her church, but I don't know. I just think she's one of those that can fit in. I mean, she's not going to be carrying the Bible around the whole time she's out there, but I understand the point you're making. But I mean, because if I played, I would certainly be have watch parties at my church. We would set it up in the gym and watch it there for the most part until I got invited and paid to go somewhere else. But anyway,
and then we would cheer, and for me, we would cheer whenever I would pull some kind of sly move, because it's a game,
right?
It's
you
like
play
football
to win the
and
game.
Monopoly.
Right.
We've talked about this so many times. It's like football and stuff. You are purposely deceiving, trying to outwit the other team by faking them out and lying with your setups and stuff. It's all part of the game.
See, and I have her because I don't have Rachel. I can see Rachel doing well, but I don't see Rachel getting me a lot of points. I think Sunday has a chance to get me more points, even if she goes out before Rachel.
Well, now
so that's kind of why I worked into that.
Well, I'm concerned. Maybe Sunday will do well. Maybe she won't. We'll see what happens.
Do you have? She's on your team, right?
Yeah, I'm the one that started this conversation before my son called to ask me what type of dog food he was supposed to buy.
Okay.
Even though I had already told him,
okay,
and that I was going to be recording. All right, it's back to Steve.
All right, my number 5 is Kenneth McNichol. And I'm not sure how well he'll do, but he was interesting to me, and I liked him. I felt like, he. I don't know that he's a big fan of the show. Maybe he is, but he's got this community activist thing going on. He's good looking. He's a massage therapist. I can see him massaging his way to the merge.
Nice.
And then I can also see him massaging the older ladies to get him pretty far. I get the idea that he's going to be, I think he's going to do well. I do. I think we're going to all know who he is.
Yeah.
And I think I also put him high up on the list because my top 10 list is pretty women heavy. It's 6'4". And so I put him at number 5. So
what's that sound? Anybody know what
I think
that
it's
sound
his
is?
microphone on this shirt. I think is what it is.
Okay.
Whose microphone? This isn't a microphone.
Yeah, it is.
It is?
Yeah, that's your microphone.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
Mine's 5'5". I just realized that. I have him kind of high. I actually have him as number 5 on my list too. And it's funny because I started out, my first thought with the Gen X was, who's the youngest male and can he get voted out? And Kenneth is the youngest male on this tribe, but his life is much more mature than his age. He's only 33, but the life he described to me is much more mature than a 33-year-old because he's gone through a lot. He's lived off the grid. He's a father now of a little girl, and it means a lot. That's an age thing. That puts him in the category of some of these other Gen Xers. So I don't think he'll be seen as like the youngest guy that needs to go. I also think, however, because he is young and good looking, that if there is a blend or a mix or a swap, he could be one to slide over and say, hey, I'm pretty close to you guys in age. I want to work with you guys. Right. I think he could do that. I don't know how much he knows about the game, like Steve said, but I can't see him going early. I just think he's going to do well, and if it gets to individuals, I think he could do well in that too. I've got him as number 5.
I had him at 16.
Wow.
I don't know. He just kind of struck me as someone that, well,
I've got like 6 people that are not on my team that are on y'all's team, so I've got apparently some duds coming up that you're going to laugh at. So.
No.
Or we chose duds too. I mean, it could be either way. Yeah. The interesting thing, and you mentioned the difference between Gen X and the millennials. It's really not. I mean, the oldest millennial and the youngest Gen Xer are 2 years apart, so it is what it is. But it is a chronological type of thing, and I don't think either of these people are going to be listening to this one, but I look back at Worlds Apart, and Lindsay, who made it like 12 days and then was voted off, is a mom. She's very responsible and everything, and she would be firmly in Gen X, whereas Mike Holloway she would be firmly in Millennial. Mike Holloway would be a Gen Xer, and yet Mike acts like a big kid sometimes. So I think, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if some of the Gen Xers act like millennials and some of the millennials act like Gen Xers. It probably will happen.
And on that note, we talked about, I think it was last week, where I said I hope the theme lasts for a while. And after talking to you guys about it, and both of you, I think, disagree with me, I've changed my thought in the sense that I hope they mix them up soon, because that's what we want to see. We want to see them in day-to-day contact. We want to see how they get along, who can blend, and who doesn't. So I'm switching now to, I hope they do mix them up at some point early on so that we can see the two ages clash and just see what happens at that point.
All right. Whose turn is it? I just picked, I think, so it would be Steve's turn.
No, I just did Ken.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
All right. Here is my number 9. And once again, this was a process of elimination. I like listening to Lucy talk. I thought she was smart. She's had another person that's had a very life where she's had to push herself and work hard. I didn't realize it. I heard it in the video last week when Dwayne played it, but when I watched the video and saw that she was a bodybuilder, I'm like, wow. Those older guys are going to say, this girl can help us in challenges. We know where we're putting her. So I didn't see her as a first boot. But listening to her talk, it's somebody I could talk to. I like to listen to. I could get along with. And she's also seems pretty smart. And I just think she's somebody that could get in with the group and vote out some of the other people. So I like Lucy, and she's my number 9.
Okay. I don't want to make David mad. So, Steve, you want to go ahead and talk about this one?
I have her at 19.
Yeah, I have her at 20.
Okay. And here's the thing. I could only judge on a phone call. And something about our phone call, you know how you talk to somebody sometimes where it's almost like there's a 5-second delay between you ask a question, there's a pause, she answers the question, there's a pause, then another. That's kind of what it was like. And so I didn't warm up to her just on a phone call, which is a phone call. Yes, she is a bodybuilder. She's strong. She's also a Christian, and that's going to count for something on this season, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So there's that too. I just didn't get the warmth from her. Of the 5 Gen X women who I spoke with, she was the one that was the least warm on the phone in a phone conversation in the middle of a media day. So call it what it is. I mean, it's just it was a gut instinct. I was like, okay, she wasn't. And also, unfortunately for her, I spoke to her right after I got off the phone with Rachel, who I was willing to like fly out there and meet because she was so nice. So, I just put her down low because I just don't have the feeling for her that I have for some of the others.
So the first thing you heard from Lucy was Steve who? Steve who? So
yeah, exactly. So it is what it is.
For me, she seems like she's. I think she's going to clash with some of the guys, with the guys that are trying to be alpha males, and I think she's gonna do that. She looks like she's unhappy, and I just don't see her enjoying it out there. I don't think she's going to be confessional giver. I don't think she's going to get me any points. So I didn't have her on my team.
Okay.
Last. And again, David, I have my CC. Steve has his, whoever that was.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you
have Jessica.
And you have your Lucy. So there you go. Is it my turn? Okay, I can't believe y'all don't have Michelle on your team.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. That's right. Go ahead.
Michelle. Oh, Michelle's on my team. Let me go right. Yeah. Yep. She's a millennial, of course. Again, look at her. She's smiling. She's going to be one of those that people enjoy having around, and they're going to talk to her, and her and Figgy are going to, I just think she's going to be in that group. She's going to be safe for a while. She's going to get on winning teams, and she's going to say the title of the episode a couple times and get me some points. I just like her. I like her a lot. She was my number 8.
She's my number 6. So go ahead.
No, finish your thing, and then I'll say where she was on mine.
She was my number 6 because I thought she was very interesting. She's an interesting person. She's a missionary, a recruiter.
Yep.
Now I'll tell you, if you're going to have Christianity as a tool to help you on this season, I think it would be better to be on the Gen X tribe because there's more of them there. But I think I think she's likable. I think she's strong enough. And there's a couple other people who I think are more logical first boots than her from the tribe. So I have her at number 6.
There you go. David?
She's not on my team, but only because I flipped her and Figgy as to who could play that flirt card better. She was close. She was in my top 15, just not in my top 10. But I don't know. She looks happy in what I think is a first day picture. After that, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't get the feeling that she's going to be long past the merge. I hope she is, but I don't get that feeling.
All right. Steve, you're next person if you have anybody left.
No, we have done my. I mean, if you guys have other people left.
No, I think David might have some more on his.
I got
team.
one more, so I'll do my last one.
Yeah, I don't have anybody else on my team.
My last one is partly because, like Steve said, Jess was from his area. I went with the comedian of the Gen X tribe and picked David. I think he could be an early boot, or I think he could be the comic relief that finds his way and is a non-physical threat. The guy's like 4 feet tall compared to the football player and Paul the mechanic, who's also a beast. He's huge. Rhett's big, and then they got little David. So if the alpha males start bouncing heads or coconuts, they look around and there's David with the extra vote. But I think he's the only funny one on that group, unless, I mean, Paul could probably be funny too, but David's a writer. He's also named David. And I have a friend named David Wright who I like a lot. He's a captain. But otherwise, I'm just going to pick him because he's named David, and I think he could be the comic relief, and I also think he could get confessionals. He's really smart. He had a good video. So that was kind of like my extra pick, my freebie. And obviously you guys didn't have it.
Well, no, I don't have him on my team.
I have him at number 12. So, you know.
What'd you think about him with your interview?
I don't remember his interview very much.
That's not good.
I don't. And I'll tell you this. Of the 20 people that I interviewed, there was nobody that I just thought, oh my gosh, they're a total nightmare. I didn't get that from anybody. Mm-hmm. But, you know, there were some that I thought, like, and I'll explain why some people were pretty low on my list. But I just don't remember much about him. And also his claim to fame was that he played chess against some sort of chess master. That's his claim to fame.
Yeah.
And I was like, now, and I read this thing, and I said, okay, your claim to fame is that you played against this guy. And I had stalked his Facebook page and seen, like, his profile picture was him and that guy together.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, did you win? Oh, no, I didn't win. Well, I mean, I've played football with Tim Tebow. That's not my claim to fame. I suck at football. You know, I mean, like, it's like, so I just didn't, that's the only thing I really remember. I didn't get a vibe on him, but he does know this game. He does understand it, and he's applied several times. So yeah. I give him a little bit for that. So.
All right. David, do you have anybody else on your team?
No, that was my 10. Now we're down to people I really liked but just didn't put on my team.
Well, why don't you tell us one of those? Because I'm trying to figure something out over here.
Okay, I'll pull up this. So nobody picked the youngest player ever to play Survivor.
No, we didn't.
Will Wall. Tell us why, Steve.
You know, I kind of feel it's better for him that it is a Gen X tribe. I mean, a millennial tribe. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, the younger you are, the harder I think this game actually is.
I agree.
I said this back last season with Julia. I was like, oh my gosh, they finally found an 18-year-old who really deserves to be out here. She understands the game. She's playing the game. She's figuring out what to do. And she ended up getting booted because she kind of was devious. And I think Julia is a great example of somebody who could come back in 10 years and could own this game. I don't get the feeling that our 18-year-old this time has the social skills yet. He's very opinionated. The people he wants to be like is, Ronald Reagan and Jesus are his, he talks about, he's very scholarly. I just think you get dogmatic at that age, and rub people the wrong way. And by the time you're 25, you've gotten some social skills in there. Nice enough kid, but he's a kid. So we'll see.
He is nice, and I like his drive, but I think as soon as he gives an opinion in the group that most of the group doesn't agree with, he's going to have a sign over his head for the rest of the time out there that says high school senior. And that's how they're going to treat him. They're going to see him, no matter how tall he is or athletic he is, they're going to see him as a high school senior, yada, yada, he's not this. Whereas, like you said, Julia just kind of slid her way in, found her place, and then started to make her splash. And I hope he does well, but because I like his fire to play, but at the same time, I think as maybe it's not a male, but if he has an opinion about something, he's got that great deep voice, but he's going to be labeled. He's a high school kid. What does he know? And unfortunately, that might count against him.
I have him at 18, by the way, and the only reason why I have him not at 20 is because I feel like probably the Gen Xers are going to have more of a losing streak than the Millennials. And also, so the other two beneath him are Gen Xers. And also because I feel like whatever episode he goes out, he's going to give us about 30 confessionals.
That's true. For me, it was he's 18. And if you're 25 or above, hanging around an 18-year-old for very long gets really old quick.
Yep.
Quickly.
especially when they're smart, right, and opinionated.
He's a smart kid, so
yeah. I mean, unless he's very mature for his age, I just think, like Steve said, he's going to become. Oh my gosh, he's talking again. You know,
he's still talking. How do we get him to stop talking?
I mean, his voice is so sexy, but he won't stop talking.
His voice shakes the trees.
Yes,
he does knock the coconuts down with his voice, but otherwise,
yes. So I have a question. Why did none of us pick Paul, the rocker?
I had a hard time passing on Paul because I like him, but it doesn't mean I think he's going to go far in the game. I think if there's a swap or a change, I think he's going to annoy somebody. I just think he's going to, maybe not annoy, but rub somebody the wrong way.
Yeah.
And he could be the victim, and I understand how that feels. He could be the victim of a bad swap or a bad switch. I just don't know. I like Paul. I'd love to talk to him, but I don't know. I just didn't get a good feeling long term about Paul.
I kind of got he's going to start saying the wrong things. He's like, if he doesn't agree with something, he's going to let you know about it jokingly and loud and fun, but still, you know, like he's fun and great whenever you agree with him. But when you don't, he's not so much. That's kind of the feeling I got.
I want to go down to Key West and I want to have beer with Paul.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on an island with Paul necessarily.
Right.
But, you know, I want to hang with him. I like him.
Right.
He's the oldest guy to play the game this season. He's the oldest person, period, to play the game this season. But the other thing is, I noticed this in my interview with him. He mentioned that he was in a rock band at least 4 or 5 times.
Right.
And I got this sense that, you know, he's very proud of it. And if you've listened to his stuff, he's pretty good. But I think there are certain things that when you say them in a position, if you say I'm in a rock band, hey, listen to my music, that's one thing. If you're on an island where nobody can listen to your music, and all you do is talk about a rock band, people could get tired of hearing about it.
Right.
You know, so I put him low also because, and I'm discriminating against my own age group here. I think we're going to see more millennials make it further. As a whole, the millennials will make it further on average than the Gen Xers.
Yeah. I have more millennials on my team.
I think I'm half and half. So.
Yeah, I have 6 millennials and 4 Gen Xers. I also have 6 females and 4 males. What have y'all got?
6 and 4 female male for me.
Yeah. How about you, David?
5 and 5.
5 and 5. You just went 5 and 5 across the board, didn't you?
Yeah, I went 2 Gen X females and 3 millennial females.
Now, let me ask you this, David. Was this done on purpose, or did you realize it afterwards? And then we're like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense.
I think it was more done on purpose because it was. I don't know. I didn't necessarily one more than the other. I agree with Steve. I think the millennials have a better chance of going on a streak of winning than the Gen Xers, and how they react to that. But like with Paul, I don't see Paul as somebody that walks up to a group and fits in right away saying, you guys are right, yeah, let's get into that. He's just, like you said, Dwayne, he could say the wrong thing at the wrong time, and that's all it takes sometimes in Survivor.
Yeah.
So
we have 2 more people about whom we have not spoken. One is Taylor, and one is Jay. Any preference on who we speak of first?
I
don't care. You choose one.
Jay, go for it.
Which one's that? I'm just kidding.
Okay. What'd you think of Jay when you talked to him, Steve?
I think I think he's deeper than he might come across. I really do. The sole reason why I put him so low is because of the survivors that he said he was most like. And he said, I would have to say Russell and Wu.
Wow. Why would you want to? Okay.
Russell and Wu. That's like, I'm tall and short. I'm fat and skinny. I'm Russell and Wu. I mean, Wu is the most chill, relaxed, athletic guy, just whatever. Russell is high strung. Russell's a villain. Wu is. I mean, if he were on a heroes versus villains team or tribe, they would put him as a hero. I mean, they couldn't be more different. And so what that usually tells me when somebody gives me these head scratching things, it's like, okay, he's watched Heroes versus Villains and Cagayan. Gotcha. Those are the 2 that they handed out. Gotcha. So, and those are the two that they handed out, as far as I know. So that makes it clear to me that he's not a super fan. And I just, he was nice enough, again, on the phone. I could be wrong with him. I just don't see him being somebody who has the chops to articulate a strategy, carry that strategy out, and then get a bunch of confessionals about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead, Dwayne.
I think Probst, is this the one that Probst likes a lot?
Said something like Ozzy or something.
Yeah, something like that. Go ahead.
I said Ozzy and Malcolm or something, but nobody could be them.
Yeah.
I also got the impression he was smarter than maybe he seemed, but I just didn't like him as much as Zeke and Adam. And I think that's where I may be hurting myself in that, like you said, Dwayne, I probably thought about splitting the tribes and making them that way, and he just didn't rank as high. And I liked Hannah, Michaela, and Figgy higher than him as well. So I don't know. He could do well, but at the same time, I just didn't get a sense that he was going to blow through this game and go through it. And with Taylor, I'm like, this is Reynolds 2.0 less. I mean, it's just surfer dude, tree to climb, log to jump over.
Yeah.
What do we do next? And if he makes it to a swap, I think he'll be the first one the Gen X's will take out because he's a threat.
I guess they could have gotten us points just for longevity, but I don't know about like confessionals and how active they're going to be in the game, So I just
think old man Joe. Joe made it to the finale, but he got like 12 points.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, we're just guessing here. If we had done last season, I probably would have put Debbie at the absolute bottom. And Debbie made the merge, and her confessionals were wonderful. I mean, by the way, with Taylor, he also said the contestant he was most like was Wu, and I'm like, okay, because he's tricky and funny, and much love to Wu. I like Wu, but Wu is not tricky.
These guys did not know the show Survivor.
Right. So since he didn't know the show, and also when they asked him why he wanted to be on Survivor, he said, the fact that I will make Survivor history. Then he's like, in honesty, I haven't thought about the money. I just want to kick ass at the game. It's like, but
yeah, zero sense that he knew of the game.
You're not giving, there are certain things that people say that are words that you say that don't mean anything. And I felt like that didn't mean anything. Again, probably a nice, I call him a kid because I'm an old man now, but yeah, a nice enough kid probably. I just didn't think he had the chops. So I have him at 16. He is the lowest. No, that's not true. I was going to say he was the lowest millennial that I had, but I have William beneath him. So.
All right. So I didn't pick a winner pick or anything like that. Did either one of you do that?
I wanted to, but I actually steered myself away from coming up with one because I didn't really want to have that.
I wouldn't mind doing a first boot from each tribe though.
Okay.
So I've already told y'all my first boot from Millennial would be Michaela. And that was mine.
My first boot from Millennials is William. There's Will.
Will, okay.
See, mine would probably be Michelle, because I think those jocks would group together. It depends on who takes charge, and if my picks take charge, then it won't be Michelle. It'll be Taylor or Will, but it could be Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to, only because I have to. Dwayne's making this.
My first pick from Gen X, my first boot off would be Lucy.
You're just doing that because I
think she's going to make somebody mad, and they're all going to be like, "Get her off of this tribe."
I'd say from that tribe, I just did the elimination thing, and I came up with Jess being the youngest and not as strong as Cece or Lucy, and not being Rachel. I just came up with Jess.
If I had to guess who the first boot is going to be, it would be a mix. It would be probably Sunday is who I have. Mm-hmm. I could see an outlier of it being Paul. I could see that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Oldest guy. I've been in a rock band, whatever. And also I think that since he's, boat captain, whatever, he's going to feel like, and correctly feel like, I know more than most of these people out here of how to build the shelter, how to do this stuff.
Right.
And sometimes knowing more and being the oldest is not good for you. So,
right. So have there been any, let's see, I'm looking it up here. Any twists or anything about the game that CBS has revealed? So has there been anything like that so far?
Just the Cyclones for one that you just talked about.
Right. Let's see. Well, how is Millennials versus Gen X a twist? That's not a twist.
Mm-mm.
It's funny. I was trying to guess I tried everything to guess what after I interviewed them, I guess in March, and then I went to the day of the finale in May is when they announced what the theme was going to be. And I just never came up with this Gen X because I thought to myself, there's not a division in age, because I actually had written down their ages and everything. And there's a 31-year-old and a 33-year-old. And, so it's a real arbitrary line that they drew.
Yeah.
So
other than that, I don't really see any we're going to do this with the immunity idols or anything like that. They've been really.
He said something about not the evolution of the idol, but it's continuing to change or something. I remember him talking to somebody about this season, just about the idol's going to be something new for the idol, maybe hidden someplace different or something. So that's about a hint of what we read.
Didn't he say something about it being like in plain? It's going to be in plain view.
Yeah, like it might be down a shell on the beach or something, but
yeah. And you're going to go, could this be an idol? Have you heard anything like that, Steve?
I haven't paid it. I've been in Rio. I haven't paid it. There's probably stuff out there I don't know. But
I've been in Rio.
I've been in Rio. I've been too busy being fabulous to know what's going on.
Hobnobbing with the Fab Five or the Final Five and all that. Yeah.
We all wish it could be, Steve.
Most people do. I mean, I'm gonna, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna go through my through everything probably this weekend and start transcribing these interviews and putting them up on people.com, and maybe I'll get a little more feeling by then.
But you're going to keep your same team. Are you going to submit your team to our Facebook group?
What, we didn't just do that?
Yeah.
Oh, so I mean, so now I have to keep this team though. I can't change it, right?
Well, that would you could do whatever you want, but it's probably fairer if you kept it the way it is.
Why would it be fairer?
I don't know.
Everybody else who's turning it in on their Facebook page is.
I said this at the beginning of the podcast. We have until the eve of the day to turn them in. And
come on! I think we should keep our teams. We are announcing to everybody what our teams are.
I'll keep my team.
We haven't announced what our answers to those questions that Andy put forth are.
That I haven't thought about.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that.
What are the questions that he put out there?
It's going to be who wins the most individuals, who finds the most idols, who wins. What's some of the questions?
Dude, I don't know.
I think that's what it was like. Like who wins the most individuals, who finds the most or plays the most idols or something like that, and then who wins.
All right, here it is. I will tell you. Well, I was going to tell you. Okay, who will be the first to play Hidden Immunity Idol? These are all bonus points. Who will win? I mean, like, who knows? That's totally a 1 in 20 shot.
Mm-hmm.
Who will win the most total post-merge challenges? Which castaway will end the season with the most confessionals? Which castaway will be crowned the sole survivor? So those were 4 predictions.
They're like tiebreakers. Yeah.
Each correct prediction, even if there is a tie, such as 2 castaways ending with the same number of confessionals, will be awarded 25 points, i.e. a potential of 100 points are available. Once you have done this, you can just sit back and enjoy. All tribes must be submitted by Tuesday, September 20th, 11:59 Central Daylight Time.
September 20th?
Yeah, the day before.
Oh, we have 11 days. This is great.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do it on day 11. So
yeah, there you go. So, my friends, it is time for... Well, that didn't work.
I have no idea where you're going. Like I said, we pull the notes up.
Why isn't it playing? Well, it's iTunes reviews, but my thing's not playing for some reason. That's weird. We do have a new iTunes review. It's from Eeyore Bassett. Eeyore Bassett.
Donkey Dog. There you go.
He gave us 5 stars. Great Survivor podcast. These guys are fun. I'm looking forward to another season with them, unquote. If you want to leave us an iTunes review, it does help in iTunes. For some reason, that's what they look at. How many reviews do you have? How many subscriptions do you have?
And even if you don't want to listen to it, subscribe to our new Stranger Things podcast. I just did it today. I'm probably the first, unless Dwayne was the first. But just to get those numbers up well so we can get, it'll be high up on the list too.
Yeah, and hit like. That'd be great. So we now have an always open D&D store. Shirts, hoodies, mugs, etc. Steve, I know you're just like, want to trade in your Maserati for a Survivor Talk with D&D mug.
No, I have the shirt right here.
There you go. There you go.
I keep it in my filing cabinet.
Yeah. For whenever you're on the show in case we mention it.
I don't know why. No, I keep it there because it's comfortable.
Oh, okay.
So, today I'm wearing a t-shirt. There are days I come here to my office and I'm wearing like a shirt and a jacket and everything, like a dress shirt.
Yeah.
And I just want to like take off half of my clothes and just work on my couch.
Right.
And put on that shirt. So
now see that's great. You too could do that. Just go to our Survivor Talk with D&D store, stwdd.com/store. Items ship weekly, so head on over there and get some stuff, or you can find the link on the website. If you want something signed, then select pickup and follow the directions. So it'll tell you how to do that. Remember, when you shop Amazon using the links on our website, you support the show, and it doesn't cost you a penny more. It's a great deal. If you like our show and want to contribute, you can become a D&D patron. Not only do you make a huge difference in our podcast budget each month, but if you give $2 or more, you get access to our D&D extra video each week, which will start very soon. That's an extra video, about 10 to 15 minutes, that all of our patrons get to see. Join our family-friendly Facebook group at stwdd.com/Facebook. Follow me on Twitter at Survivor_talk. Thank you for tuning in, sharing our show with others, subscribing on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube, and for being a part of the D&D family. Steve, it was great having you on the show.
Good being here. Can't wait for the season to start. It's sooner rather than later.
And let us know when you're going to join us for a Thursday night recap.
All right, I'll let you know. I appreciate it.
So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. See you, everybody.
See ya.